What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we got some very, very interesting news. As it has been revealed, the pay-per-view numbers that nobody is talking about, that 4-division world champion, currently the undisputed super middleweight world champion, widely considered to be the face of the sport of boxing, top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, in Saul Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is now 57 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout, 31 years of age, 5'8" with a 70-inch arm reach. He took on undefeated WBA light heavyweight world champion, Russian superstar boxer DMITRY Bivol, in which Canelo Alvarez, he lost in dominating fashion. He lost all but 3 rounds in the fight. And the pay-per-view numbers were revealed. DMITRY Bivol is now 20 wins, no losses, no draws, 11 wins by way of knockout. He too is 31 years of age, 6 feet tall with a 72-inch arm reach. So with that said, Canelo Alvarez is reviewed as the biggest star in the sport of boxing, okay? He's reviewed as the cash cow in the sport of boxing, okay? He made $50 million for the fight with DMITRY Bivol. And everybody talk about Canelo Alvarez being the face of the sport of boxing and how he's a pay-per-view superstar. Well, the numbers have officially been revealed that Canelo Alvarez has done with DMITRY Bivol 300,000 pay-per-view buys. I'm gonna say it to y'all again. 300,000 pay-per-view buys, okay? Now, they tried to tell you that he did 600,000. The numbers have been revealed that he did 300,000 pay-per-view buys, okay? And then you had Mayweather Promotions CEO Leonard Ellerbe confirm it yesterday with details. He went into detail about Canelo Alvarez's pay-per-view, okay? Leonard Ellerbe went into detail, okay? And he broke down, you know, what it did in the States, what it did domestic, what it did, you know, universal. He broke it down. He went into detail. And so with that said, it has been revealed that Canelo Alvarez, for one, he lost, okay? Now, they tried to tell you he's still the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, the pay-per-view superstar. No doubt he's a pay-per-view superstar. No doubt he is well revered in the sport of boxing. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that, okay? But on the flip side, ERROL SPENCE Jr., undefeated, newly crowned 3-belt, unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer who is widely considered now to be top 2 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. ERROL SPENCE is 28 wins, no loss and no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. He's coming off of a massive unification bout against former WBA welterweight world champion, Cuban star boxer, UNDEFEATED. Okay, April 16th, Arlington, Texas, AT&T Dallas Cowboys Stadium, in which it's been reported that ERROL SPENCE and UNDEFEATED, they did 300,000 pay-per-view buys. So I tried to explain to people, ERROL SPENCE now, he did 350,000 pay-per-view buys, his first pay-per-view fight with 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Mikey Garcia. Then he did 325,000 pay-per-view buys with 2-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showdown Shawn Porter in Los Angeles, California. Then he did 315,000 pay-per-view buys in his comeback fight against 2-division world champion Puerto Rican superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia. Okay, and now he did about 300,000. So I tried to explain that to the fan base, the boxing fans, that today's climate is extremely hard to do upwards of 500,000 pay-per-view buys with this climate, because people so many people illegally stream fights, okay? So many people today's time with technology and social media have so many different ways to be able to stream the fights, to watch the fights without paying for the fights. It's not even funny. It was reported that Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury first fight, they found 10 illegal streams, 10 million illegal streams for Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder, the first fight. It was reported that they caught 10 million illegal streams for that fight. Okay? So imagine if just a percentage of that, 1% of that actually bought the pay-per-views. And it still did reportedly 850,000 pay-per-view buys. So imagine if you have, if only 9 million streamed it, you would have did 1.8 million pay-per-views. 1.85 million pay-per-views. But 10 million people they caught streaming the fight. So imagine. But when it comes to the fan base of Canelo Alvarez, the fans will tell you, well, Canelo Alvarez don't have that problem. He still is the pay-per-view superstar. Well, now DAZN, this fight with DMITRY Bivol was on DAZN. They paid Canelo Alvarez. $50 million. It was $45 million, $44 million, and then he got money on the back end, revenue shares, gate, things of that nature that added up to about $50 million. Okay, so with that said, it's safe to say that he's not the pay-per-view superstar he once was. Now, there was a time where he did close to a million pay-per-views when he fought Triple G, I believe. You know, at one point, this was the case. But the climate and the choice of opponent is starting to catch up to Canelo Alvarez. Starting to catch up to him. And fans don't want to pay for it. They'll rather find a way, okay, you're going to fight who you want to fight instead of who we want to see you fight, and we are the consumers. Okay, no problem. We just don't pay. We'll watch you, but we'll just find a way not to pay for it while we're at home. And that's essentially what's happening here. So if ERROL Spence did 350,000 pay-per-views, now it makes sense, right? Triple G is Canelo Alvarez's biggest pay-per-view success. He lost to DMITRY Bivol badly, right? So it makes sense now that DAZN don't want to greenlight a fight with DMITRY Bivol, a rematch, because for one, it wasn't successful as far as getting their money back and revenues, okay? And then two, right, they lost money, but two, they don't believe you could be successful. They're not confident that you're gonna win the fight. So what better way? Let's see how these numbers do. They did a 3-fight deal with Canelo Alvarez, right? Guaranteeing him $40 to $50 million per fight, right? They want to get their money back. So what better way to do that than to attempt to revisit his biggest pay-per-view success, which was against Gennady Triple G Golovkin. So in September, that's the reason why you're getting them wanting to push Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo Alvarez, because that's the last biggest pay-per-view success Canelo Alvarez has had. So they want to revise it, they want to revisit it, they want to relive it, right? They hoping that the fan base still shows the interest. They remember they paid Triple G massive amounts of money in hopes of securing the Canelo Alvarez Triple G rematch. Again, that was his biggest pay-per-view on his own, without Floyd Mayweather's name attached to the fight. Now, obviously, he and Floyd Mayweather did bigger numbers, okay? But Floyd Mayweather always does massive pay-per-view numbers, right? So without Floyd Mayweather's name attached to Canelo Alvarez's name, the biggest pay-per-view success he had was the Triple G fight. So it makes sense. And they're looking at it from a standpoint where you wasn't successful. You can't beat Dimitri Bivol. So why would we want to risk it? No, it's not worth the risk. Again, and worth you losing again. And people don't have the confidence. Now there may be people that want to see and pay for the intrigue to see if he can make adjustments and actually beat Dimitri Bivol. But then there's people that look at it and they say, oh, stylistically, that's a bad matchup for Canelo. He ain't gonna be successful. He ain't gonna win this fight. So what's the point? Right? So with that said, you know, they don't want to bank on that. They rather revisit the well of the Triple G fight where they know it was water there, because they're getting dehydrated and they don't want to run the risk. But now when you look at, when they tell you ERROL SPENCE did the highest pay-per-view, highest live gate out of any fighter in 2020 when he fought Danny Garcia at AT&T Dallas Cowboys Stadium. He did the highest gate out of anybody, including Canelo Alvarez. Now he is top or even on par with Canelo Alvarez as far as pay-per-view goes. So it's safe to say ERROL SPENCE is slowly becoming the face of the sport of boxing, or quickly becoming the face of the sport of boxing. Now we witnessed Canelo Alvarez, the aura of invincibility that was surrounding Canelo Alvarez, with people saying that, you know, he wasn't gonna, you know, he got much better, so much better since he lost to Floyd Mayweather back in 2013. He got so much better that he looks unbeatable. Even I believe that. I didn't see him losing to Bivol. Obviously, there's a chance that he could lose. I said it was a 50-50 chance he lose to Jamal Charlo, Dimitri Bivol, Demetrius Andrade, David Benavidez, right? There's a chance that he loses those fights. But there's a strong chance he win those fights. Even I believe that. But now we watched Canelo Alvarez lose essentially almost every single round for the second time in his career. Now, the first time was to a guy who was smaller than him. This time it's to a guy that's bigger than him. Now, they're trying to sell you that Canelo Alvarez is better suited to campaign at 168. But remember, at 160, he put a rehydration clause on Danny Jacobs in a unification bout. I'll say it to you again. He put a rehydration clause on Danny Jacobs. So if you put a rehydration clause on Danny Jacobs at 160 at middleweight, then you was too small for the middleweight division. But you most suited for 168. So the excuse is Floyd Mayweather was too experienced, too good, and everybody lose to Floyd Mayweather. So that wasn't no shocker. And Canelo Alvarez himself said he felt like he never lost because that was just a learning lesson with Floyd Mayweather. Now you lose to Dimitri Bivol, and now he's starting to tell the world that he don't even feel like he lost the fight with Dimitri Bivol. He said that he feels like he won the fight 7 rounds to 5 at the very worst. He feel like he won more rounds than 7 in the fight. Well, now you lost to a big guy, and the excuse is you was daring to be great. Now he's he loses. Now he had 2 very, very close fights with Gennady Golovkin, where there's people that thought Gennady Golovkin won both those fights, and especially the first fight. Okay, so with that said, if he loses at 168, it's over. If he loses to Jamal Charlo, David Benavidez, Demetrius Andrade, or any one of those guys at 168, it's over. The excuses go out the window. So they want to carefully matchmake him to be able to capitalize on the revenue as much as possible, right? Because he fights Triple G, he beats Triple G, everybody wins, right? He fights Demetrius Andrade, David Benavidez, and he gets outclassed. Jamal Charlo, and he gets outclassed by guys he's saying they've done nothing in their career and they need to fight each other, which I agree with. They do need to fight each other, right? I wholeheartedly agree they do need to fight each other. But he says they need to fight each other. He loses to one of them in the same manner he lost to Bivol. and Floyd Mayweather, it's over. That's the reason why they much rather have him face off against Gennady Golovkin. They like their chances, especially Gennady Golovkin looking vulnerable against Sergey Derevyanchenko. He looked vulnerable against Ryota Murata in his last fight. He looks very beatable. He's 40 years old, but he still has a major fan base. He still is a draw, and the fights with Canelo Alvarez have all been close, and then some people just have your number. So that's why that's the road they rather travel, opposed to, you know, attempting to have Canelo Alvarez, quote unquote, dare to be great again. They ain't trying to lose no more money. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.